Welcome back, you guys. As you can see, I now have lakefront property. We just had a storm roll through here a few minutes ago and my front yard is flooded, which tells us that we are going to have to do something about the finish grade for this build project. But let's go inside. Let's talk about the progress that we had this week. We made some really exciting progress, and I want to talk to you about that. So the first thing that you'll notice, if you're kind of looking in the background behind me here, is that we are in fact painted. Had a friend of mine from church who does a bunch of remodeling type work, and he came out and helped me out with painting. So we sprayed the whole house, we back rolled the walls, and everything looked really great until the next day when it dried. And the ceiling in this room, there was just, because we didn't back roll the ceiling, because we were trying to save time, you could see like just a little bit of deviation as far as the sheen, because the spray wasn't 100% perfect. So I did come back and re-roll this whole ceiling in this main room area, and we got that sorted out. So that was Tuesday and the weekend to some extent as well, because like I said, I had to come back and re-roll the ceiling in here. So that was Tuesday. Great, awesome. That was, an important thing that had to happen. On Wednesday, we had our permanent power connection made, which is exciting because that meant that on Friday, my electrician showed up and we started working on trim out. So out in kind of that wing of the house, we've got just about all the trim out is done. Circuits are powered on. We've got lights and switches and stuff like that. I did have my electrician hold off on the lights in this main kind of room area. This is kind of the great room. So there's kitchen, dining room, I guess living room. Anyway, all kind of one big room. And I had the electrician hold off on putting the lights in here because I knew I was coming back to paint. And because there's nothing in the ceiling, it was just roller and just roll the whole thing out. It only took like an hour and a half, and that was great. But the exciting thing is on Thursday, my man Charles showed up and installed this gorgeous kitchen. Now, we'll get to the countertops in just a second, but this kitchen is beautiful. So 100% custom built. What you guys may not be able to tell on these videos is that I am over 6.5 feet tall. So I'm 6'7", and one of the really cool things, because we were able to go with a completely custom kitchen, is the height that these cabinets are built to is 2 inches taller than standard, which means that down here, there is like a riser plate to bring the range up to the level that it needs to be. So we have custom height cabinets, which just, it's more, the thing is, countertop height is super stupid because in the US, the standard countertop height is 36 inches. And almost everybody is like kind of hunched over when they're working at a counter. And I just think that's dumb. So we brought them up 2 inches. These are gonna be 38 as far as our finished countertop height. So we're 2 inches taller. So in doing that, we also had to space the upper cabinets up a little bit. And so if you are one of my friends who watches this and you ever come over, I will apologize because I am the only one who can ever reach the top cabinet. So, the goodies are up there. Anyways, cabinet install came in. It is really beautiful. There were some unexpected things with this install that I was not really prepared for, and that is that these cabinets are built 100% square. This concrete is not 100% flat. So there's little, subtle deviations, which, and we're talking about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 inch in some places from the highest point to the lowest point, which in almost any other context would not matter except when you put a cabinet on it and it rocks because it's not quite perfect. So we had to do a little more shimming than I was expecting, especially with the island, because the island is giant and we had to scoot it around. But all in all, we got the kitchen installed. Really beautiful project. The only thing that I wasn't like super crazy about was the stain on this island. Turned out just a little bit darker than what we were kind of going for. The sample piece that we had was a little bit lighter, but it's one of those things of, it's really hard to tell what it's gonna look like in the finished house based off of a sample piece that's like that big. So I'm not upset at all about that. Charles did a great job, and I cannot speak highly enough of him. This was the first time that he's actually built a full kitchen. Like, this is his first custom kitchen, and let me tell you guys, it looks great. And yeah, like really nice. So because Obviously, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, we've had a tremendous amount of theft and fraud that has occurred throughout this house build, and so we don't have a lot of money. We are down to the wire, and as such, we cannot afford to put like actual real countertops on this. So what I've been doing today is I am building these countertops. So this is that gorgeous island. Now, as you can see, the finish on this countertop is in varying stages of drying, but this is what we're doing for countertops. So this is 3/4 inch sanded maple plywood that is making up our countertops. So what I did is I brought in a plywood. Now the thing is, the finished, eventually when we do this in stone, it's gonna be all the way out to here, but it didn't really make sense to have an 8-foot long seam running down. So that's why these little corner pop outs just look a little funny, and why there's like screws in the finished countertop. But anyways, that's kind of that. Now, so we are doing plywood countertops. There's going to be a sink that goes in here after I finish sealing, and after we finishing the surface, the sink will be installed. It goes kind of right over there. You'll notice countertops are not over there. That's because they are hanging out over here in the master. So we've got a couple more pieces of countertop just hanging out in here. They just got their first coat of finish on them, and we're gonna have to do probably a couple more coats before they are at 100%. On the exterior of the house, we still do not have the ridge cap. And the reason we don't have that is because the wrong ridge cap was ordered. And so we ordered the correct ridge cap, and it turns out that second special order was also wrong. It's been frustrating. It's been really frustrating. But we've got an alternative supplier for the correct ridge cap. We're gonna get that on Monday, and then we should finish all of the exterior work Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on what time there's a colored caulk that goes in and seals the edges of the siding pieces and around some of the trim and stuff. And so depending on what time of day that comes in, we may or may not finish all the siding tomorrow. So that's where we're at as far as the exterior is concerned. Obviously, you can see we've got paint on the interior. The kitchen is going in. I've got vanities that I'm putting in as soon as I finish this video. And so we're making good progress. I did want to address one of the things that I'd mentioned in my last video, and that was talking about doorways. Now, when I said that they were not standard, or they weren't the normal size doorway, my own ignorance or my own lack of knowledge made that problem a lot worse than it actually was. So I measured rough opening at 34 inches and assumed that a 34-inch door is what goes in a 34-inch rough opening, not knowing that a 34-inch rough opening takes a 32-inch door. The reason I had a little bit of a freak out, stress, whatever, is because 34-inch doors basically don't exist. You can special order them, but they are substantially more money to special order 34-inch doors versus a standard 32 or a 30-inch door. So fortunately, my own lack of knowledge was the whole problem. Once I was educated, once I understood how that works, we actually did end up getting all of our doors in. These were a kind of special order. We bought these doors through Menards, and the particular style of door that we wanted was not one that they kept in normal stock, so we did have to order it in. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't crazy expensive. They're pre-hung doors. I think we paid about $142 per door. There was like a little bit of variation with the 34s cost a little more than the 30, or the 32s cost a little more than the 28. Like a little bit of variation, but 140, 145 bucks a whack for the pre-hung interior doors in the style that we liked. So that's a win. We are coming in probably Monday. My buddy Caleb that helped me with the paint, he's coming back. We're gonna get these doors installed. Electrical finish should finish on Monday. I really hope they finish on Monday, because that is going to be that's the one thing that could maybe screw us for our schedule. Today is Sunday, April 20th that I'm recording this. Obviously, you guys aren't going to see this until a week later. So hopefully by the time you see this, I am loading a moving truck and we're actually moving in. So we are moving in 6 days. So I've got to get vanities hung tonight. I've got to get the range hood installed so that HVAC can connect the vent and all that stuff to it. So there's still quite a bit of work to do. There's a lot of work to do this week. We are pushing for final inspection on Wednesday. So that is the plan. That is what we're going for. Our hope is to get final inspection done on Wednesday. So if anything comes up in that final inspection, there's anything else that we need to fix, we're able to fix that Thursday and then re-inspect Friday. So that's kind of our tentative schedule. HVAC is going to be done on time. Plumbing is going to be done on time. Roofing and siding, exterior work is going to be done on time. The only question is electrical, because my man Josh down at Apex Electrical, the nature of being a really awesome company to work with is his schedule is quite busy. So he's super booked up this next week. So he's only got one day that he can give me on Monday. And so I'm hoping that his crew can come out here and just get this knocked out. Most of the work has already been done as far as like, I mean, it's trim out. So it's not a whole lot of difficult work. So like the panel is all completely made up. More than half the house has outlets in it. We've got lights and stuff in about a third of the house, and we should move pretty quickly on Monday. So we're hoping that that goes smoothly, but that's kind of the one potential area that we could have an issue with. So anyways, obviously, we're gonna play it by ear. It is what it is. There's not a lot that I can do I can't make him work any faster. I can't make his guys work any faster. They already do amazing work, and I'm totally happy with them. Highly recommend them. Josh at Apex Electrical down at Harrison, Arkansas. I was critiqued in a last video for moving around too much, so this is my attempt at being a little more mellow and easier to watch is kind of the thinking here. Anyways, so where we're at. This week, we started HVAC trim out. Oh, we got the well installed. That's a big one. So we now have water on site. So we got the well put in and the pressure tank installed, and tomorrow my plumber's coming out. He's gonna hook up he's gonna hook water up to the rest of the house and start working on the plumbing trim out, and it's all will be well. I'm very excited to have water because it means I can stop hauling water out here in 5-gallon buckets from our rental that's 15 minutes away for my chickens every single day. Anyways, super excited to have water out here. Now, obviously, as we started the video, we got a ton of rain in the last hour, and I have a lake in the front of my house. I did end up getting my truck stuck in the power ditch because when we dug the ditch for power, every time it rains, it just turns to mush. And I'm not entirely sure what to do about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Obviously, there's some finish grading that needs to be done. There's a lot of things that have to happen, but we are on schedule. We are on track to move in 6 days, which is crazy. It's crazy to be sitting in a house telling you guys we're moving in 6 days, because for so long it felt like this was never going to happen. All of the delays, all of the gaslighting from my general contractor, all of the lies from my framer, just like everything, it genuinely felt like this was just never going to happen. We were never going to get here. So we're almost there. We are making really good progress. We are months behind schedule. We're $100,000, out, lost, damages, however you want to look at that. So that sucks. That's hard. That's not fun. And there's things that we're having to say no to. So obviously we're putting plywood in for countertops. We're not putting a floor in. We're just using the concrete until we can afford the floor. We're not putting the master bathroom together. Like, we have a toilet for it so that all the toilets match, but we're not putting a master vanity in. We're not putting the master shower in. So the kids are going to have to share their bathroom, which is going to be irritating. So I think, well, I'm not exactly sure. We're going to have to figure out in what order we prioritize putting things in. So, I really thought we had planned for a fan right there. Eesh. Oh well. Well, it's gonna have to work out because we are kind of committed at this point. But one of the really cool things as we're getting to this finish point, we're looking and we're going, oh man, I really wanted to do this or that with, like, we wanted an extra light in one room and some stuff like that, is because the attic is a conditioned space. It's really easy to go back and add stuff to the top of the drywall because it's right there. There's nothing hard. So anyways, that's a lot of words. I've been rambling for long enough. I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Hopefully, like I said, by the time you're seeing this, we're loading the moving truck. So anyways, I hope you guys had a great week, and hopefully this next week goes smoothly. I will do my best to capture video throughout the process and get to a video that actually looks like something reasonable. I am trying to get David from Show Me Energy Solutions back out here to do another blower door test once all the HVAC and everything is installed, so we can see what our blower door score is after installation. So anyways, that's a lot of words. I'm gonna stop talking. I've been going on for long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave them down below in the comment section, and we'll see you guys in the next video.